Hi guys, my name is John. I've been living in China for 3 years. I've also been studying Chinese for 3 years, and today I'm going to talk about why my last semester's grades were so terrible for my master's program in a Chinese university. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's just be real. The reason why I'm making this video is for people who are considering coming to China or are like interested about the Chinese education system, especially at the master's level or in higher education specifically. And so the first thing I have to say is I'm the very first foreigner to ever be in the applied psychology program at Fudan University. The very first ever. Very first foreigner. Like, ever. Just keep that in mind. So then on that note, this entire program is aimed at Chinese people. It is not like other majors. Like there are many majors that are taken up and very popular with foreigners. This is not one of those majors. And that's why a lot of the difficulty that I had was there, because it's not a major that is made for foreigners. It's a major made for Chinese people. Here, like my grades last semester, like you're gonna see one of them is blurred out and there's one of them that's not on there. The one that isn't on there is for statistics, which the grade hasn't come out for yet, which I'm not sure why. I'm still waiting. I'll let you know what it is in the comments as soon as I get it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good because I spent like 25 hours reviewing for the final and I was like, on those formulas. The other one is that's blurred out because I'm gonna shit on this course and this teacher. I'm gonna tell you like a approximate name of it and what the course is about, but because I'm gonna shit on the teacher, and if I actually use the actual course name, like people could actually figure out who this teacher is very easily on the Chinese internet. So the first class is called Topics in Experimental Psychology. There was 2 presentations and 1 paper. That paper was like pretty difficult to write, but like let's just talk about like that last presentation I did that was 20 minutes. Like 3 different perspectives of vision affect someone's visual momentum during a telecommunications task in a virtual environment. And I had to talk about that for 20 minutes in Mandarin, and I still managed to get an A on that presentation. Just keep in mind, I literally rehearsed that presentation, I would say like for like 5 or 6 hours. It's only 20 minutes. I probably rehearsed it like so many times. I literally rehearsed it like over and over and over. I was like on that shit like a mofo, you know what I mean? And then also the writing for that was pretty difficult. We had to do like, we had to write about how to formulate an experiment, which was kind of difficult to write about in Chinese, but I still managed to do pretty good. I just think like in general, like overall, my participation was like not that good, so like that's probably what brought my grade down in the end. Oh, the next one's called Survey in China, which is like one of those general courses that everyone has to take when they're in like everyone in the whole school has to take. It's only made for foreign students and it's only made for like us foreigners to take, but it was like ridiculously hard class. I literally had to do, it was 1 presentation, 1 paper. The paper was 8,000 words long, honey. The actual presentation was an hour long, and guess what my freaking topic was? I had to do how Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism, the thinking that is contained within these 3 religious systems has affected the modern day Chinese people. And I talked about that for an hour in Mandarin. But outside of that, my participation, bam, terrible. I literally never said anything in that class. That teacher was, she was like the devil. And like there are teachers, all types of teachers that teach that course, so I can just say this. That teacher was the devil. She literally was so mean to people. She was not like that mean to me and my partner. But in the end, I actually kind of was okay because I got a B-, which is like much better than I heard a lot of other people did, so I was perfectly fine. The next class was like, I'm not gonna tell you the name of it, but I'm just gonna say that this class was terrible, and it was like about sort of like in psychology, how to use the different tools to assess people assess people's psychological states, I guess you could say. And just like there was 1 test and 1 presentation. The first half of the semester was taught by 1 teacher. That teacher literally didn't know what she was doing. She did not know how to I don't even know if she knew anything about the topic that she was talking about. Like she was so unprofessional. And like the test that she gave was so different than what she taught in class. In her PowerPoints, she never talked about calculating. She never told us we have to do any calculations. She never said we have to learn any of the actual formulas that she talked about because we never did any practice and we never had any homework about them. She never talked about half of the stuff in that entire presentation, to be honest. One time I remember in that class, I literally thought I didn't understand what she was saying. I listened to her for like 5 minutes. After listening for 5 minutes, I turned to my friend. I was like, did I just not understand what she's talking about right now? Because I literally don't understand what the point is. And that Chinese girl turned to me and said, It's not just you. I really don't understand what she's talking about either. Anyway, I did so terribly in that class. That's why I have a C in that class. That's why it was literally so terrible, because that test, I did so horribly on it. Even though I reviewed for over 20 hours for that test, I literally reviewed for 5 days straight, like 4 hours every day about everything in the PowerPoints. I really thought I understood everything. And it turns out I didn't. I didn't participate in that class at all. The next one is going to be about social psychology. I thought it was a joke class. Literally, it was online. We had one presentation and one paper. The presentation was super easy. My topic was super easy. It was like 12 minutes long. It took me like maybe 5 hours of preparation, including like reading and researching and like preparing like what I'm going to say and the speech that I was going to give and stuff. But because it was online, it was just kind of like a joke, and you could just like not listen if you didn't want to. And basically the teacher didn't teach anything. The students did everything for that entire class. The teacher only talked at the very end for maybe 5 minutes. And for the rest of every 2-hour period, it was students teaching and students doing presentations for the entire semester. So just kind of like a joke. The next one was consumer and advertisement psychology. Again, another joke class, like completely a joke. I really just didn't even like, I didn't learn anything in that class really. It was all like very basic psychological theory, and just like nothing that I learned except for like more Chinese, like how to say things in Chinese, I guess you could say I learned. Other than that, we had 2 presentations, we had 1 paper. The paper was like 3,000 words, and I just analyzed like Supreme as a brand and like why it's not popular anymore in China, why it was popular before, why it's not popular now. And like for the presentations themselves, I thought they were pretty good. One of them was 20 minutes, the other one was also 20 minutes. I basically did 5 minutes of speaking for each of them, and we split up the work between 4 people for those 2 projects, and it was just fine. Actually, it was just a joke. It was like a free class kind of. Again, participation was terrible. If I did participate more, I am sure I would have gotten an A. What's the common thread between all these classes? I don't like to participate because I have serious social anxiety. The next class that I'm going to talk about is going to be counseling tactics, which is like not like a really accurate like translation of this class name, but I'm not really sure what to call it, so I'm just calling it counseling tactics. It was amazing. The teacher was amazing. We basically got to do a ton of like practicing things that we would learn in the class, like from theory. We would put them to practice after class for about half an hour. We would basically record like a counseling session with like another student, just doing it like, it was like a role play of a counseling situation, and us practicing different skills and things that we learned in class during that role play. Super fun. We had to do 2 writings as well, and I think I did really good on those writings. I did like quite a bit of research. They didn't take that long, but it was like 5,000 words in total for those 2 writings, and they were both due at the end of the semester. That plus all of the practicing and having to hand in like transcriptions of our practicing and like also recordings of our practicing. The teacher would give grades upon those, along with having to do a few, I think we had to do 2 different, how do you say that, like literature reviews. And those 2 literature reviews, I know I smashed out of the park because I was like really serious. They were like the very beginning of the semester, and I was so serious at that point. I was like, I am going to do my best. And I really did very well in those 2, so that's why I have an A in that class. And it's like the most important class in the end, because it's like the one that's most connected to like what I want to do, which is counseling. So I was super happy. And then statistics, which is not on this. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get like in the B range because I never participated in class. I know on the test that I got at least a B, like probably a B+. I know exactly where all my mistakes were on that test. I knew where they were after I left the test. I knew exactly what I did wrong. I knew exactly which questions I was not sure about, absolutely sure. I like memorized everything for that class. The one thing I want to say about statistics though is like learning about math in a foreign language. It is so difficult, like learning all the vocabulary that is like math related, and like how they say things like adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, how do you say, like when they take the square root, those types of things. When you do in a foreign language, especially something like Chinese where the words are totally different, you have no like conception of those words, you're just learning them as you go. So difficult. Like that class was absolutely ridiculously difficult on a language level. But anyway, that teacher is super passionate about teaching statistics, so I didn't even care like too much about it. Like I loved it every Friday, going there for 3 hours, taking statistics. I thought it was great. The language was super challenging and stuff, but I didn't really care too much. Like it was just interesting, and I just kind of liked it a lot because she was so good at teaching. Like amazing. Keep in mind, this is not the language of my motherland. This is Chinese. I'm taking all these classes in Chinese. Just imagine writing and presentations in that context. All of my classes are based upon my language ability, so this entire video is literally through the lens of that. my language ability is like the way that I'm struggle busting right now. I think if it was like more test based, I think my grades would be better. The reason why almost all my grades are B's and not A's is because of my participation score. It's not because of my writing, and it's not because of my presentations. I think that most of my grades could have been pushed into the A if I had been more into the A range, if I had been more participatory in class. Why do I say that? Because it's like 20% of most of these classes is based upon your participation. So it's like, for me, I have such anxiety and fear of standing up in front of a room full of Chinese people and speaking Chinese. Even if I have a good idea, even if I have a good question, even if I have a good comment, I'm so nervous and so afraid of like making a mistake linguistically. And I get in my own brain and I get in my own head, and I just am like formulating the whole question, everything that I want to say in Chinese, and by the time I formulated it and I'm sure that the grammar is perfect, I'm sure I know all the tones, I know everything I'm about to say, the teacher's already like on the next, like she's already, by the time that I'm at that point, by the time I'm like really ready to ask that question, honey, that teacher is like she's almost finished with the whole class, like she's already talked for like 20 minutes by the time that happens. And that really affected my grades a lot. That was like one of the biggest reasons why some of these grades are like so low, like in the B- range, when really they could have been B+ or even A- range. Kind of sucks, but that's just the way it goes because I didn't participate. And so that's one of the biggest things I'm trying to fix this semester, is like getting over that fear and understanding that my ideas and my thoughts are more important than sort of like the way that I've expressed them. If people understand like what you're trying to say and they understand the thinking that you're trying to express to them, that's more important than if your language structure and your grammar and your tones and everything are absolutely perfect. People can kind of give you a break on that. And that's something that one of my friends was telling me today, is like you have to give yourself a break and you have to do the things that are going to be able to get you the highest grades possible. And that type of participation is just participation itself. It has really nothing to do with your language ability and the way you express yourself. It's the fact that you tried. That's it. And so that really, I took that to heart today. Anyway, so that's like why and that's like I think an insight into how like Chinese classes work. Like, and if you're coming here as a foreign student, you're not doing something that is like very like, I don't know how you'd say, like very popular for foreign students. Like if you're doing like a major that isn't like one of those very popular for foreign students, made for foreign students, like that's kind of like what you're in for, kind of like a mixed bag type of deal. And a lot of the classes I thought were like hit and miss. And then some of the classes I thought were like amazing. I think it really depends on who the teacher is and how professional that teacher is and how much they care about teaching. I think that's the biggest factor. The other thing I want to say is that this semester, all of my classes are like amazing. Like all of my teachers seem amazing, and the things that we're doing this semester are amazing. And I just like am so excited to like really get into this semester. I just really, I'm amazed. I just love it. I'm so excited. So if you want a video about like my classes this semester and why I'm so excited about it, just let me know in the comments. If you like this video, let me know what you think. And if you like anything to do with China, if you like anything to do with anything to do with language, anything to do with anything, you can like this video and you can subscribe. Bye bye.